Matoke. Let's keep on Matoke.
How you do it? Stop calling people Matoke. You're calling people banana.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Welcome to On the Couch with the NUBONS.
On the couch with the new BZs.
Sure, Ntwana.
That's a new one.
Ukraine.
That one was cool.
Angas.
I'm good. How are you, Black?
Ukraine, sure.
Good.
Mellow.
Mellow. You chillaxing.
Yeah.
Take a chill pill.
Nico bubbly.
Sometimes my mom says that to me. Take a chill pill. And I'm like, who told you that?
She's cool, bro.
She's very cool. My
She's
mom's
dope.
amazing.
Yeah, no, she's
Yeah.
dope. Yeah. Lillian.
Why are you calling me Lillian in public, bro?
Because
People are going to think it's cute and be like, hi, Lillian.
don't call my wife that, please. It only stays here. Mazopizla. I'm sure we're on the couch, fella. We're free.
Yeah, we are free.
Unless you're on the couch, you can't call her Lillian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get it right.
Yes. One woman, one name, one desire, one life,
One man.
one couch, huh? One braid
Okay.
that
What?
fell,
Oh, yo!
and your one daughter screamed in public, "Mama,
Mama, your hair!
your braid." Oh, she said your hair.
Mama, your hair fell down! And I'm just like, okay, girl.
Chill.
Okay, girl.
Like, not everyone needs to know that's our hair.
Yo, bruh.
Just now, this is when you need to sit down and say, in this family,
Yo, we need to teach her.
when something falls, just
Let's move on.
just like gently tug at your mother's sweater, whatever she's wearing, and just be like, girl.
Mama, your hair.
Anyway, do you know who Sankomota is?
Of course. Why are you looking at me like that?
Ukuleno Pop Mali, right?
I did. Okay, let me not lie. I learned about Sankomota like late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like after high school.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But they have a nice song.
I know where this is going.
We might ruin a couple of childhoods, which is fine. That's what we do with this thing. If you didn't know, that song is about Judgment Day, Angas. But even with that, I'm not confident because the verses and the poetry. Hey, one thing I'll say is, yes, man, like, and it's one thing I've always said, but like, you know, South Africans, it's like we can write, man, you know. But that poetry is next level.
Poetry.
Which we're not going to
Poem.
get into the poetry.
Okay, cool.
The hook, though. You waiting for your name to be called.
What did you say?
Your body shaking in disbelief.
Tell us more.
But you never worked for it before. Like, thanks, bro. Thanks for reminding me that my body's gonna
No,
be shaking.
you're waiting for your name to be called. What did you say? Am I in this line waiting? Oh, okay. Your body's shaking with disbelief. Tell me more.
Your
body's shaking. Tell me more.
Tell me more about my body that's shaking in absolute disbelief.
But I only thought of it today.
Yeah.
When I was saying the words, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh snap.
Yeah.
Like I'm only thinking about it now.
Tell
I'm
us
like, oh.
more. Your
But when you
body's
hear it, the
shaking.
song is it's haunting.
It is,
It's scary.
bro. It is. But the thing is the last line. So I'm like, already, just to say that your body would be shaking, I'm like, my own body
Yes.
in and of itself is like, no, bro, we can't believe this.
Yeah.
The last line, you never worked for it before.
Worked for
Yeah.
it.
Sankomata, please come tell us.
I don't know.
What is it that we're not working for?
I don't know. But there's this, I know there's judgment in there, but also that first line, waiting for your name to be called, feels like it feels like something bad is going to happen. So I don't know what we didn't work for
We didn't work to be in the line that's causing our bodies to shake in disbelief for our names to be called. So you basically just arrived. You didn't work for it.
So why would I be shaking though?
That's the thing.
I would be like, I got in without working. Isn't that what everybody wants? That's why people play lotto.
I think my brain is shaking in disbelief.
Yeah.
I cannot think.
We shouldn't
what it
overthink
is.
certain lyrics.
Maybe it is. It's just a poetry thing.
It's poetry. It's a poem.
Okay.
It's a poem.
If your childhood is disrupted, please let us know in the comment section, because I cannot figure out what we're not working for.
Tell us more.
That we never. In case you forget, never. Ever worked for it before.
Love you.
Speaking about things, bro,
Love
that
you.
we don't work for before.
Like what you did there.
Yeah. Black tax. You work
Black tax. What did you say in that other episode? The previous episode about
black,
if my name was...
If your name was Tax, we would be Black Tax.
Black tax. Yeah.
That was deep, ne? That's the best poetry you've ever heard.
I'm pretty sure there's an African child out there whose name is Tax. Actually, I knew someone named Taxon.
What does
You should do a
Texan
podcast with him.
mean?
I don't know.
Texan.
Yeah,
Or
Texan.
was it
Like tax
Texan?
in.
Oh, like I-N.
Yes. But one
And maybe the parents were celebrating that their tax returns were in.
And like when he was born, the money, they had like a huge tax return.
Probably.
And they were like prosperity.
And his
taxing.
son is tax return.
Or was it Taxman? No, it was Texan. Sorry, it
Either
was
way.
Texan. Yeah. Cool guy.
Yeah. So we said we're going to pick this up because in the previous episode, we spoke about, I think, money.
Yeah.
And alluding to the two big things that break marriages, sex and money. But within the category of money is the idea of black tax.
Yes.
So I said my views have changed.
Maybe let's start with what is black tax.
That's the thing.
Okay.
It's
so that's what your
changed
view. Okay, cool. Okay.
there.
Okay, I'm gonna let you finish.
So obviously tax has negative connotations. Nobody thinks of tax. Maybe out there and you know.
Nobody likes being taxed, bro.
Maybe you're special and you believe it's one of those people. You know, this is how the
Like you get so
country
happy to
is
follow the rules.
supposed to work.
Yeah.
Which I get it. You know, taxes
PAYE.
do
Take that.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think majority of people have good connotations when it comes to
Not
tax.
at all.
Which then obviously, you know, black tax then carries those negative connotations.
And also because tax is inescapable.
Yep. And I get it. There's people who tend to take advantage of other people.
Yeah.
And maybe that's another thing that adds to the negative connotations around black tax. You know, so you live in the city, you came to work, you're doing well for yourself, and the calls from the village increase, girl, right? And then you start thinking, these people are like, they can't just be calling me every day.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody's back home not wanting to work. I get that, and I want to appreciate that and acknowledge it. And as we chat, I think it will come out that I think some of the burdensomeness of this whole thing should be spoken about. But I've been thinking, man, you know, how this is not burdensome.
So, sorry, because now you're going into how your views have changed, right?
To define it.
Yeah, but
Okay.
can you share the definition that is commonly the agreed upon common definition?
Yeah, so it's basically, in a nutshell, having to take care, contribute, give money back to your family to help with whatever needs, right?
And the kids have to.
Yeah. And it takes different forms, you know. So other people have monthly giving that they have to help out the family. Other people, it's like, yo, man, you don't have to take care of us. month to month, and that's the family saying that. But when your younger siblings have to go to school, can
It's on you.
contribute to getting them some varsity money or whatever? Or maybe there's a big thing that you'll take care of. So if there's a funeral or whatever, it's all on you. Or if somebody's getting married, you're gonna have to cough out, a big chunk of whatever the needs are. So I think it comes in various forms, but it has to do with, in the simplest way to understand it, an individual who has to give money back to their family for whatever needs, right?
And it's the family expects it.
Yeah. Some people would even say it's not just limited to like finances, monetary categories, but it could be opened in other ways.
Okay.
So you don't have to take care. You don't have to bring money back home, but your cousin who's coming to Jersey to look for work has to stay with you.
Yeah.
Right. Which is, they're staying with me, so they'll eat what we eat. They'll use our electricity, which is
ultimately
money.
it gets to the same place.
Which is money, but I know other people who are like, no, your younger brother is coming to Joburg or wherever you live in a metropolitan. They're coming to look for work. They'll stay with you. We'll send some money.
Yeah.
But they need a place to stay.
Yes, yeah.
So and they'll contribute to the rent.
Yeah, I mean, that's an ideal setting.
Or
the only
board
thing is,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Then the taxing is sharing your space.
Yeah. I was about to say, yeah.
So that's why I'm like, other people would say it's not financial for them, but space, mental peace, etc., etc. Then other people, it's not even somebody coming in or whatever, but like, dog, you basically you're the psychologist, the therapist, the counselor of your family. Whenever things are falling apart, and in this case, they fall apart every day, and you have to
go in,
carry the burden.
Right.
So so I think that would be that.
And so now, what has, because that's kind of that's my understanding of black tax.
Yeah.
I don't have, it's not something I experienced. So even in this conversation,
yes,
I'm coming from a place where it's stuff why are you laughing?
Somebody's like, you've never experienced it.
No.
Because you're the one who's taxing.
Wow, black.
I'm saying that's what somebody would say. Because there's your cousin sitting somewhere
I see what you're saying.
in Limpopo saying, yeah, I've never experienced it as well. Because you're the one who's making the calls. You are the one who's taxing the rest of the family.
Okay, but to clarify, I know. I'm saying to clarify, I've never been on the end where, well, let me say my family, right? My side of the family.
Yes.
It's never been a thing that I've had to deal with just because of what happened in my upbringing. It's stuff I have observed with my mom, my other family members, my friends, but as an individual, there's no personal burden that I have faced. And also I haven't been on the side of having to be the one to go stay with a person or having to, haven't been on the side of everything that I received in my upbringing was provided for me solely by my mom, my parents.
100. So I think maybe to even sharpen the conversation further, it's to say, I might be speaking for you, but speaking on black tax, particularly in marriage and how that affects,
yes,
and I think obviously some of these things spill over, but I think they pose certain challenges, specific challenges when you're married, because then if I'm alone, I'm just dealing with me and my fam. But if we're married, I have to deal with all of that.
And your family is my
family.
People.
And then having to think about me build, especially for even for a guy. I took you away from your house. You were living dandy, and then I'm like, hey girl, come, let's build a life together. Oh, plus I'm still helping 10 other people build their lives. You know what I mean?
3 people are moving in,
and 4 people are gonna come, and one of the cousins, I have no idea. Like, they just popped out of nowhere and they said that they part of the family, and now we have to live with them.
We had that here, like where people would just, I don't know whether it's because
In your family?
Yeah, like because I was just like when people come from far, I don't know if it was just the era where they won't be like, oh, I'm coming in a month. You'll just get a call and like, oh, I'm
at
here.
The gate, yeah.
I remember once where my sister literally coming home from school,
and
my aunt was there with
somebody.
her child, and I was like, I'm pretty sure my mom would have told us, because she would stay for like a couple of weeks, and then we called my mom like, Auntie so and so is here. She's like, what? I'm like, yep. Move up my room. This is happening.
When you come back home, there's 2 people.
We are here.
That live here.
Anyway, yeah.
The thing that has changed, and I did I wouldn't have been podcasting, but I did a podcast very, very long ago. This was 20.
Oh yeah, for Gospel Coalition.
Yeah, on Black
Who
Tax
was on it?
with Leah.
Okay.
And the thing that we were talking about is how she was growing to see Black Tax as a blessing and not a burden. I got it then, but I think, like having lived a couple of more years engaging with people, engaging with Black Tax for myself, and just thinking about why this thing is even a thing, right? Particularly in Black communities, has made me see the blessing in it, and not treat it as a burden when it could be done right.
So what's doing it right? And like what I understand, because you're saying it's a blessing, is it that thing of, you know how like Christians can be like, oh, it's a blessing, but it doesn't feel nice? Or is there like, I don't know, like I'm genuinely asking, or is there like a pleasure that you're like, oh, this is teaching me this, or is it like, oh, I'm joyful, I feel joyful about helping my baby sister, whatever.
So it comes from chats I've been having with David just about the principle philosophy of Ubuntu. And what Ubuntu means. Can it be abused? Yes. Does it get abused? Yes. So
like with everything.
Yeah. So I am because of the whole, and the whole is because of me. So I never seem to exist alone, and if I do, that's not gonna add to my flourishing.
Right.
So when I think of just how African communities have functioned, and I'm not trying to have like a history conversation and like a deep dive into history, just even how I grew up, So now, past couple of 30 years, I mean, not couple of, but past 30 years, how I've grown up, and what it means to belong to a family, what it means to belong to a community, and how we take care of each other, right? So it comes from that, So a lot of kids from villages or townships would say, you wanna make it in life because you wanna either fix your mother's house or buy your mother a house or whatever the thing is, and we've seen like celebrities do that, and how much
beautiful when it happens.
How beautiful it is, how much we shut them out. And when I thought about it deeply, I was like, yo man, like that thing is not a burden. That thing is not even a dream. If you take out I'm gonna work hard because I dreamt of this big house, but it's just like a tattoo that we wear because of where we grew up, because of how we grew up, right? That when I meet another kid from the hood, or David meets another kid from the village, and we talk about the story of fixing houses, buying houses, that it's not like I don't have to explain the mechanics of what I mean by that thing, but you just get it. And we moved by wanting to do that. We moved by, wanting to help grandmothers, mothers, whoever it is that we think, and what the house means or the home means.
Yes.
And what it symbolizes, and feeling blessed to be part of the people who will contribute to building that home, right? And so black tax for me, I think, where I started thinking, man, it's a way I'm contributing, it's a way I'm helping out, it's a way I'm part of this, thing called Ubuntu. Let me say, an ecosystem. This is a part I'm playing right now. Other people before me, and even as a kid, probably played that role without calling it that, without calling it black tax. It was, this is how this thing is going to function. This is how this thing is going to grow. We're going to look after each other.
Like,
because
this is how it goes. There's nothing unusual here. This is the flow. Because you were on the receiving end, now you have to be on the giving end. That's how it goes. Yeah.
I'm like, maybe it was called something, but I don't remember aunts, uncles, grandparents speaking about being taxed. But it was like, and I know with our grandparents, this I know, that they would do stuff and we'd find out later, which I had conversations with my grandfather when he was still alive, and I was young at that point, just asking about certain uncles who would come and how he would help them, whatever, right? But then later on things come out like, oh, smack, your grandfather like took so and so to school, and it was like, what? Not that my grandmother didn't know, but it was that thing again, like, yo man, this is how this thing is going to move forward, right? Acknowledging just the limitations we have as a family or even as a society, right, and black community, the limitations we have because of, let's say in this case, segregation, apartheid, slavery, whatever, right? And now we're here, how are we going to survive, right? Okay, part of what is going to keep this thing going is that, man, whoever has shares, right? And then we move to the city, and then life in the city is expensive. Life in the city is rough. And
individualistic.
Yes. And you are pushed into a very individualistic.
You are, yeah.
I said this on 2.5, just even how complexes are built, where it's like you came to Joburg, you came to work. We're not building a complex that has an expansive playground because you're not going to have kids here. You're not trying to build a family. Just come in, work, go back home, right?
Complexes are what flats used to be the city.
Yeah.
Remember, like you just have like in the Hillsborough, like where I grew up, it was just a big block.
Yeah.
Buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you know? Buildings, floors.
Yeah. And the only place you could play is at the top.
Yeah.
Where you do your laundry.
Yeah. Or you running around in the corridors.
In the corridors.
Bothering everybody.
Yeah. Because the flats is just you come to work, you bounce, right?
And then you could,
Yeah. So when I started thinking about that, and this is not to say that the thing is not hard.
Yeah, I think we'll get to that.
At no point, yes. So don't hear me say this and think I'm saying at some level this thing is not hard. But I started realizing, man, so even calling it tax has bad connotations, and it feels like, oh, I'm being taxed and I'm being, And I think if there is a level of manipulation, a level of taking advantage of, that's gonna suck. But
because I think there is a category. So I mean, if there was another word for what you experience, right? I mean, I don't want to go to Ubuntu, but I'm just saying, like, if there was another word, because I think there is a category where it is black tax, like it's a give to Caesar what's due to Caesar, where people do experience it as. So what I'm trying to say is that I think what you are experiencing would need a different sort of title for it.
Okay.
But I don't think we could do away with the black tax category. Maybe it's just cleaning up what you get what I'm trying to say.
And maybe where my frustration is probably on the black.
But I think that's just an identifier, because it's assumed that it's only in this community, black people. But I think it's just a, because I mean the I don't know when it was coined, at least in South Africa, but I know I only heard the concept like late. But I'm like I had witnessed it. But the it being called black tax,
I mean, we know white people who are taxed,
and that's what I'm saying. That I'm like, but it's almost a different kind of because again, right? Because growing up in the so for you and for the people that I know, no, not the hood. I'm saying growing up in community, whether it's hood, village, whatever it is, right? Or even if you have a home that you go to. For me, there was no home we went to. Like, it was the three of us. That was
you guys are alpha and omega. It starts here, it ends
Starts
here.
here, it ends here, fam. Like, right? So, the idea of being community centered, but then at the same time, you're growing up in a world where your parents want you to thrive in an environment where it's all about what are you doing, where are you going, what are you building, and you need to show that you have a house and a car, and this is, and if you don't show that you went to school and you bought the house and the car and this, it'll be like, how can what did you do this whole time? So you have to go back home with your big house. You have to bring everyone. Go back home with your big car, bring everyone to your big house. So you're trying to, from what I've seen people experience, that you're trying to do that, but at the same time you're trying to look after everyone. So I think it seems like there's a clashing of sort of schools of thought where I'm like, you guys have thrown me in this place to say to be successful and compete with these your peers, you need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it becomes I need to do this. This is on me. I need to figure it out. And then now, what about us? Versus I think in other communities, there's already an assumption that your house is your house. You're going to
do your own thing.
Yeah, so I'm helping you, but it's really your house. I'm not really assuming that you're going to, you know what I mean? So I think that's kind of like the tension.
I hear you.
Sort of, so, but I'm saying that and so there is times where it is tax, and then it is obviously specific to our community, which is Black people. But I guess maybe the Black tax makes it seem like only Black people go through that. But I just think Black people go through it in a almost like a unique way,
which will be true
just because of our history.
No, just because like we're not white or we're not any other race. You know, it's. I think, and I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but it's as redundant as saying, like you go through unique struggles just because you're a woman. Yeah. You are a woman and you are going to go through unique struggles, right? So my thing is, and we had this chat recently, it's the narrative that we perpetuating. It's the narrative, and I'm not saying because now for me I'm changing in my definition of the thing that's what everybody should do, and I'm not saying I am underappreciating the struggles of actually being taxed, but I'm like, conversation we had recently speaking about good storytelling. I'm like, good storytelling has to hold two things in place. And to say Black tax says there's only one way to experience this thing, right?
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying.
I know that's not what you're saying, but that's what I'm pushing back against and saying.
Yes, you're saying there's another category in which this can be defined.
And that's why I'm like...
Which is a different experience.
Where my tension is with the Black, where I'm like, the Black experience is not the same. It's not a monolith. We don't, and sure, we've had conversations about that before, but that's where I'm at now. Where I'm like, I can't say because my definition and understanding of this thing is changing that I'm forcing it on other Black people who are struggling and being manipulated and feeling like they taxed, feeling like they have to give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. I'm not saying that my thing is not supposed to undermine that, and equally so, I'm saying, hey, don't hear me say this and think, as when you don't have a whole village. You just have, a family of 2 people or whatever. Come understand my struggle, and now it becomes a comparison of struggles and I'm like, no, I would want for you who's being manipulated, tax, giving Caesar what belongs to Caesar, at some point that any of the things that are causing that to be such a burden, for those things to end. And if they're not gonna end, hey man, I'm here to say I'm hearing you. I'll hold your hand, be there, I empathize. But there's a whole other experience. I think so. Even with the podcast I did those many years ago, that was a radical idea, especially around that time. When I think the conversations of Black tax were really at their highest. Yeah. And for Leah to say, yo man, not only just as a Black person who's understanding the principle and philosophy of Ubuntu, but even as a Christian, this I actually find joy in serving my family in this way. It was like, what? Right? So I'm like, yeah, and those are just 2 perspectives. There's probably a third perspective as well.
Yeah, but I'm just, I think so part of what informs your new not new, but like this sort of revised view.
Yeah.
Right. Part of it is Ubuntu, which is an African teaching, which is a black teaching. So part of it is your actual blackness.
Yeah.
That defines how you look at this in a positive way.
Yeah.
I think in the same way, part of it being called black tax is because of the black experience and it having to be black tax, not just family tax. It's like it highlights the history of a people and it says, flip, dude, like it's the history of being disadvantaged. It's the walking into, I mean, I remember going into AFDA and being amongst like my white peers who had been playing with cameras since childhood, who had been, and not like, oh, I made a little camera. No, like they had been, because parents were able to afford a new hobby. I'm getting there touching stuff for the very first time. And I'm like, it's not like anyone undermined me, but there was just a reality of like, oh snap, my experience is very different to yours. Like in my, at least on my mother's side, I think from as far back as I can remember, my mom doesn't have a university education. It was me and my sister. And these people are coming from generations, right? So I think in the same way that the blackness informs, you know, it's what I said about like how you want to sort of flip this thing. I don't think we can take away for people who are having that experience because they are black as well. Because of the black history. Yes, right?
I think that's an important clarification. Yeah.
But anyway,
that's an important distinction. Yeah. So maybe the thing I'm pushing back against is black tax has negative connotations. Yes. That's the thing I'm pushing back. But your clarification is spot on.
Okay.
That's dope. I think it's adding on to the layers of my own thinking around this conversation, so that we both coming from the experience of being black, but there is a storytelling that it highlights the truth, whether it's a negative reality or positive reality. Good storytelling holds both. Yeah. And you want to value both. We want to value both. Which I think is profound, because again, like you're circling back to most likely how your grandparents grew up organically, which was and not consciously like, we are doing Ubuntu. It's just, this is what we do. But again, in a society that's becoming more individualistic, more about me, and where families have broken up, where now you're not as connected to the creator family, like my situation, where we're literally like, you know, it now the idea of being expected to share with people you don't even really know. They're like there's been greater distance. You know what I mean? You go to the hood, which is 30 minutes away, and you know, like, my side is a totally different story, you know? But anyway, so for the sake of this conversation, right? Ooh, my brain was going to other places, but it's fine. Is it? Nah, it's cool. It's okay. Okay. We're going to talk about black. You look excited. But, because I mean, it was around community, still around blackness and all of this stuff, and, you know, communal versus individualistic. So anyway, but I don't want to get into it because it's gonna be because my mind is also like, anyway, it's all good. Should we touch? No, I think let's stick to, because the purpose of this conversation is not for us to break down our understanding of what black tax is. Right? Yeah, it's not even. I think it's more like the real implications. Yeah. Right, because that's sort of what. So we can compare the different. You know, like you get like in some Indian communities where people all live in one house, and in Joburg it's like, what? You live with your mom? But I'm like, that's actually pretty financially smart. Like you guys are going places. Instead of 5 people buying 5 houses, you all come together and like we all. The thing I'd be interested in is that's community. That's a village. Yeah, how they don't crush. I don't know. I haven't engaged. I haven't read any material in this. I've just seen it and observed it. But the thing with that would interest me is, how do you still keep the uniqueness and respect for an individual couple? So I think that's where the challenge always comes in. Okay. Yeah. I think that's and I think obviously that's an extreme, like it's on top of each other, right? Where like the mom-in-law or father-in-law has a say about where you're gonna work, and they. I know I have read and heard of it being oppressive in some instances, and then just leading it back to the black tax conversation. The story that pops in my mind is, I don't know, I think it was on, I don't know, one of these
pages are Naked Chef, or I don't know, Funny Chef, not Naked Chef. I was called Naked Chef. I don't know why. The Funny Chef.
There was somebody called the Naked Chef.
There was Naked Scientist. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, but it was one of these Facebook pages where someone asks a question and people just share their stories. And this woman speaks about how she got married and now she's like, okay, cool. She knew her husband's family situation, like they weren't like well off, and we're doing the things, paying school fees and helping whatever. She's fine with that.
I'm like looking at this thing fly into your face,
right?
And I'm not
what
doing
is it?
Anything? It's just a piece of material.
Is it? Okay, cool. Because I'm like, is it a bug? But a bug's white, or some of them are. Anyway, but it's gone now.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they get married and life is whatever, and then the life is continuing. A few years down the line, they decide, okay, she's like, okay, bringing up the topic of buying a house.
Yeah.
And he's like, we can't buy a house until I buy my mom a house.
Hey.
And she's like, babes, what are you saying?
Hey.
What are you saying?
That guy probably heard my comment earlier on about the dream of hood kids and village kids buying their parents' houses, and he's like, yes, that's not what I meant.
Yeah. Because I love that concept.
That's
I love
I
love the idea of your parents haven't had the opportunities that they could have wanted, but have managed to do so much to put you in a position where you can build yourself. And there's a beautiful exchange of being able to be like, hey, mom, here's a house. And she can be like, oh my word. Sorry, side note, I was watching an interview with Trevor Noah with his grandmother. And I mean, she's old.
She didn't want anything to be touched.
And people are commenting, and you could see it was all Americans. Why doesn't he buy his mom? Like you could just tell from the tone. And I'm like, this lady is old.
No.
She doesn't want to move, bruh, to the suburbs. That's her house. She's just like, just fix what's here. I don't want to move,
bro. That's the texture that I was talking. So even him wanting to do that, and the grandmother to say no.
No, exactly.
Bro, there's some but as Buffett, we need to do a podcast on like being hood and village and wanting to build a home, bro.
And like what success sort of looks like. Because I did, Trevor, you're a gazillionaire by now. Yeah. Surely your grandmother wants to live in a big house by the beach. And I'm like, madam, no, she does not.
She wants her stove.
Yes, that she knows.
That works with coals, yes. Bro.
And she wants her neighbors and the guy down the road. She's like, bro, that's all it is. She's happy.
The closest she'll let you get to is painting the outside wall.
And I'm like, old people, they want like things must be, but I always have tea here. Why this is where I have my tea. Anyway, so going back to that story of this, so this woman is commenting, asking people's opinions, because she's like, I'm actually shook because we've been looking, or I shouldn't say shook, but she was like, I'm really like, I don't know what to do because, we help his siblings. We already do stuff for them. And this lady, they have children.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's already a lot, but it's fine. I understand. Mm-hmm. But now I can't buy a house until we buy at this rate. I'm going to buy a house in 25 years. And in my head, I'm like,
that is wild.
Extreme, bro.
That is wild.
Like that. And then you hear the stories of people saying, I couldn't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My dad didn't want to buy me a new pair of sneakers. Okay, that's probably like frivolous. But when you're a kid, it's like, hey, I've been asking for the sneakers the whole year because he went to go pay for somebody's waiting that side, right? And the resentment that comes with knowing that you're helping everybody, or even when your cousin comes over, when your family comes over, we must go sleep on the floor somewhere so they can be comfortable, which is right. That's how you treat a guest, right? But kids because I have like a couple of friends who've grown up in that, sisters in that situation where it was like, it was good, but we always felt like the outsiders in our own, so in that case, I'm like, shucks, like. And
I think the breakdown is not communicating, but anyway.
With the, but I'm like sitting there going, so this lady can't build her house or buy herself a house, build her living.
That's wild.
Put her money into, and like buying a house for a lot of people is big. It's like a sign of,
you asked me to leave my house
and I
to
can't
come
buy
build
a
a life with you.
Buy your mom a house,
and we need to build a life, but you telling me that you still need to build some.
And he was like, no, other people are gonna say like I can't. Like, no ways. And I'm like,
are people gonna come to you and say, hey, can we see the title deed of the house that you're living in?
Sure. In my head, I'm thinking, just rent her a nice place. pay the rent.
How do those
year,
people
and
not
then
know
go
that? How do those people not know that the house you're currently living in Newport?
Yeah, like it's, and I think in that case, I'm like,
Wow.
I don't know. I think that's when it becomes unfair.
Yeah.
So I know that so it's become, I think it's unfair on you as an individual, but it's unfair to then put your partner through that. Because there's a level of protection. Like if my family is coming with heat, there's only so much you can say.
Yeah.
Right? Because like,
Yeah.
I'm the one who can sort of, same thing
Yeah.
on your side. There's
Yeah.
only so much. I can't be getting into it with people. Like that's crazy. If there's a dispute, really, you are the one who has to.
I've lived with these people all my life.
Yes.
We've developed a way of fighting and forgiving each other. When uzofika uthi inhlonhlo my husband, bese mina tomorrow we like, hey, Shontwana.
Exactly, and I'm
then
there
you
looking.
there fuming. One woman, one
know?
passion, one anger.
And then so now I'm sitting there going, what does she do? Because then she's gonna look like you eating my son's money. You this is this. And I'm like, no, like.
Mara, bro, why
No.
didn't you tell me this before we got married,
Hey,
bro?
dog.
Never.
Can't buy a house.
Never, bro. You should have told me when you met me. Girl, I love you. You are pretty.
By the way,
I come with my mother.
like on the first date.
Literally, after you said, hey, I think we can go out. Not even I think I like you. No, I think we could go out on a date. Girl, let's meet at so-and-so restaurant at 3 p.m. By the way, I'm buying my mother a house first. That's rough, bro.
Yo.
That is rough.
And like I sit there going like to what end, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously you get married, your problems become mine, your burdens become mine, my problems become yours,
Yeah.
my responsibilities become yours,
Yeah.
etc., etc. And it's like, yeah, it's one thing when you're dealing with black tax and it's you as an individual, but it's nothing where now you're taking food out of my kids' mouths.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. So what I was thinking earlier on was just how we come to the city, and particularly South Africans, and we, get into this individualistic mindset, and the culture kind of perpetuates that as well. But foreigners don't do that.
No, foreigners
come.
especially African
Foreigners.
Yeah, foreigners.
Yeah, African foreigners come into
coming
South
into
Africa.
You are here
and-
because you're sending money home.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but they always come together.
Yeah. Wait. Sorry, I got lost.
No, that's fine. They are
Yeah.
sending money. That's fine. That's a conversation. I was just saying, when we leave the township or the village, we come to the city. We become very individualistic.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And
I get
then
it now.
we struggle with, obviously, dealing with black tax, sending money home, etc., etc. We become more insulated, isolated, right?
both of them
Isolated,
probably.
and we grow in our individualism. And sure, if in the case where people are not being abused, but you start also growing resentment towards the family, the village, the
Yes.
township, because here I have other black South Africans that I need to compete with.
Bro, we at the bra
We at
talking
the
about
bro.
like,
Okay,
like,
a car,
you know,
a car.
I was golfing the other day, like, you know,
What car do I drive, bro?
like, you,
Alright.
your kids go to private school.
Right? So we are flexing, right?
Yeah.
And part of the flex, if we appreciate the thing, which I'm like, we shouldn't even appreciate the thing, but maybe to be empathetic and think about people's struggles, You're hiding the fact that you come from poverty. You're hiding the fact that you come from lack, whatever the thing is. And now you're here, self-made, you're building yourself, you're working
And
up the corporate ladder, etc., etc. And you're hiding that. But you have to keep that up, that when the calls come from the village, you start hating the people because now they're messing up the plans of how you're going to dress up to hide and flex.
because also there is a level where these are the lives we envied. We watched other people
Leave the hood.
and go and become. So in as much as I
Yes.
value all my upbringing, but the life I
Yes.
envied was the guy who's top of whatever, coming in
And came
with the
back
big car.
with the Pajero, with the
and
wheel.
Dude, the Pajero.
Pajero.
When the Pajero came out,
How you
I remember in primary school, Lebohang's mom had a
You
Pajero.
playing.
When we would go outside to look.
You're playing. But
so I'm just saying,
yes.
like, there's a level of where this is a life I fantasized about.
Yes.
So this is my upbringing,
Yeah.
but this I actually had this fantasy to be, like this is, and now I get to live it out, but at what cost?
So you come to the city and then you realize, oh smack, Lebohang's mom slept without food to
Go mid-rent.
go meet the rent. She didn't have furniture
Dog.
so that she can come back to the hood of the village and show off with her pachero with the back wheel.
Yeah.
But that back wheel is expensive, right? There's a cost to it. And so now you here and you're trying to hide the fact that I come from lack. And even where I'm staying, I sleep on an ironing board. So at the bra, I'm going to flex. But I'm like, there's something, and I'm taking back my statements of saying foreigners, but maybe foreign nationals. Anyway,
Because foreigner, like, I think
it sounds rough,
no,
man.
you know what it is, nah? It's because, like, here's our fellow black people, like the I think with the history, South Africa and the xenophobia and whatever, foreigner was like
Sounds
an
rough.
insult, and
Sounds
yet
rough.
it's actually just you're a foreigner. So I remember when our friend came from Uganda and she would refer to herself as, I'm a foreigner. I'm like,
Yeah, we were like, don't say that. You belong. Anyway,
Yeah.
so foreign nationals, they don't come to the city and start flex, at least the majority of them. But instead, they find each other. One, I think, just to survive. But
they flex amongst each other.
yes. But even if they flex, it feels like they flexing as a group to the rest of us. It doesn't feel like they flexing to say, oh, look at her. And maybe they do it in their own way that I don't know. But it always feels like, Nigerian guys, Zim guys, Ugandan guys, they all come together and they flexing as a group to the rest of us. And they're like, we're going to take care of each other here because we all, have a little stockfell that we're sending money back to, right? I'm like, we're going to Macro to buy in bulk. And Macro has an account, like a Zim account.
We start in January.
So by the time we go in December, Macro is loading up truckloads, right? And that's going to be our flex. So
and it's also beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Like, it's beautiful and you're like, oh man, like, you plan 12 months in ahead.
Yes.
I mean, 12 months in ahead. What did I say?
12 months ahead.
You plan 12 months ahead to send
It might be in your head as well, but
massive
anyway.
groceries home. And like, I'm like, yo, wow, that's dope.
And so that's what I'm saying, that the other side is seeing that. Is that still black tax? Yeah, sure. But coming together and saying, we're out here to work, well, and we're working. Part of it is working for home.
Yeah.
Part of it is actually saying, let's come together. My thing, my critique here is for us, black South Africans, who then go to the city and work. And I'm like, imagine if I didn't have to flex against David. Imagine if David doesn't feel the need to flex against you. Imagine if we'd all come together and say, oh, okay, cool. Township, village, you come from somewhere else. In this case, you're in the burbs, so you came from another township, right? In my scenario. Hey guys, how's about we just come together? Oh, you have 3 siblings. I have 4 siblings.
Yeah.
Oh, David, you have 5 siblings. Dope, guys. Let's, put $20 aside, my chance. Maybe
a school fee stock fell.
Maybe the thing that
Did we
we're
just
doing.
start something?
Copyright.
One of these financial institutions
Copyright.
is gonna steal our idea.
We are gonna put a timestamp on this thing, right? So what we're saying is we're gonna take these $20, we save them because your little sister in 10 years' time is gonna go to first year, whatever university. She'll have money at least to keep her going for the first 2 years or whatever, right? It's part of what we have to do. That's why we came to the city to work. It's part of what we and then let's continue forming community because now you're alone. Let's continue forming community. Right? When I think of the unspoken system of adoption in black communities.
Oh yeah, right? In unofficial.
Yeah, umamncane nomamkhulu.
Yes.
Umalume, ubabomncane nobabomkhulu. Those titles mean that if I clock, my kid has a bunch of other mothers. So you have an older sister. So Zaya has Umamkulu. If something happens to you, Umamkulu takes over.
And Mamkulu knows that.
Easy.
It's on you, babes.
Easy, right? And she has Abu Auntie, my sisters. If anything happens, they step in, right?
They know that too.
none of us sat down and said, hey man, since I have a kid, when technically it means I'm cool. Or when I see that also happening organically between us and the Gobedis, where I'm like, I'm not signing papers to be like a godfather or whatever the thing is. It's I don't know if Achi picked up on the joke, but this one time he was like to Zaya, do you know that I'm your other father?
Yeah, that was weird. What? How are you a 6-year-old?
And I'm like, my boy, you are nobody's other father. I am your father, right? If anything happens to your dad, I'm your father. Zaya, if anything, and then teaching Zaya about fathers, I'm her father, trying to tell her that David is her other father, but at the same time God is her father as well. And she's like, how many fathers do I have? I'm like, my girl, I'm your father. If anything, I'm your dad.
You'll get it when you're older. Yeah. Some things you'll be like grade 8 going, oh
yes,
that's what it is.
That guy was just a friend.
Oh
yeah.
Like when I discovered that all my cousins were just family friends.
Yep.
And I was, because they had their own cousin.
Yeah, and you were wondering why
and
am
I'm
I
like,
not
how come they
your
have,
cousin's
but
cousin?
It was, then one day I was like, how are we related?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I just met her in a lift in 1993.
At work.
Oh no, I met her at a church. Yeah. And so I'm like, so we're not,
but,
okay.
Yeah, anyway, and I think it's that thing again, where I'm like coming together and building community. I think closers do that, they say that Midrand is like another Eastern Cape, because like the closers find each other in Midrand.
It's also Durban.
Yeah, it's also Durban. but I think, anyway, let me not speak about other communities, I don't know. So the thing that I'm trying to get at is, I think to combat the individualistic approach to living life in the city, especially for Black South Africans, we just need to find a way to come together and
in the city,
build communities in the city away from our immediate communities, from townships and villages.
Because also I feel like we even, again, this is speaking from an observational perspective, it seems like you forget what community is once you come to the city. Like I look at you, right? Like we go home and you greeting everybody. Like it's like I'm like, we're 9 years in.
Let's not even talk about the greeting in the city.
And you like, and here I'm like, we only know like one neighbor's name. This is us having community.
Bro, there's neighbors.
And yet like it's part of you specifically, your DNA to be like, yo, I mean, you're cool with the security guards at least.
Bro, there's people who work in our streets, black people. I'm like,
they don't greet you. It's weird, hey?
There's a family that moved in 2 houses opposite from our house. So if you go that other direction, they're a black family. I'm like,
no, they literally do this.
The unspoken rule in the hood is whoever you find at a spot, you greet. Yeah.
So that's the black people rule.
So if
I find you there,
if I'm going to the shop, I'm passing your house. So I found you waiting outside your house. I'm passing. I'm gonna greet, because it's a way of saying, if I'm being blunt, right? Let's say we lived in Bree Street. If I'm passing, it's a way of saying I acknowledge you. Don't kill me. Right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's an extreme thing. But because I'm acknowledging you, I'm passing where you are standing, right? It's a toll gate, as it were. Say, I acknowledge the thing. This is your turf. It obviously it's not that. But I'm just saying, if I'm being extreme and blunt. But I think in a positive sense, it's just saying, hey, I acknowledge the space that we all occupy.
Yeah.
This is the space that you occupy. I'm passing. I'm going to greet a bunch of other people that I see. Yeah, I'm putting out the bin. I was the first one in the street, son. So technically, right, in the unwritten and uncommunicated rules, you coming out, you saw me in my turf. You're supposed to be like, yo. I'm supposed to be like, yo, what's up, dog, right? So I'm like, okay, 2 seconds, no yos, it's fine. Protocol has been broken, but I'm going to greet. Yo, I know, bro. They turn around. I'm like, I'm fine. That pisses me off.
But I think that's a choice.
That's
right?
fine.
And I think maybe for them, it's like, I never like this whole we all know each other business. So unless I have to do it, I'm not doing it. I don't know. Because that's rude. That's rude as heck. Like, no matter where you come from, that's just rude.
I won't do this if it happens, but I know this is how we speak in the hood. If we do that and you don't greet, your house is gonna burn one day. We're all gonna stand there. Because that's what community is. We're together, right? We can't afford ADT in the hood. We are each other's ADT. So part of the greeting is saying, Mafetu, I'm leaving. So if there's thugs who come in here, yo, look after the house, right? So now I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe because you have ADT and you have insurance, if your house burns, well, I'll just, which I won't do.
I was going to say, you of all people
I will
not.
be in there, sure. But that's the thing that irks me.
You can't help yourself. You're a nice person.
I grew up in the hood. So anyway,
yeah.
I think with the black tax thing, man.
Back to black tax.
Yeah, and I think we veered off to kind of, put some weight in the thing and more thinking. For me, again, I'm trying to see this thing in as a way of just building family, building community, and helping out. But I feel like the conversation needs to happen if you're married.
But I think, I agree. And I think what I would like to know is, so you're looking at a married couple. Let's not use ourselves as an example. Looking at Jabu, Tembi. And how do you determine at what point is what Jabu's doing for his family black tax versus this is the spirit of Ubuntu? Because in my mind, I'm trying to think, does it become black tax when it's being demanded of you? Where you'd feel like you don't have an option to say no or I can't? I mean, there was a girl in, I saw a comment somewhere talking about, bruh, I have to send home, I have to send money. My dad expects me to send money home and I'm in university and I do promotions. Like I barely make anything and I get money from NASFAS. And he's like, hey, bruh, send money home. So I'm like, and she's like crying on the post, right? So in my head, I'm like, does it become tax when it's because I'm under obligation, or is it now Ubuntu when this feels good? I want to do this. So I'm like, so you got Jabu who's saying to his wife that we need to buy so-and-so a new car because they're starting a new job. Yeah. And she's like, babes, we need a new car.
Yes.
But he's like, but this is good.
Yeah. No, I think you're nuts. I think you're crazy, Jabu.
So which one, when does it become tax? When does it become... This is how we are raised as Africans, and it's a good thing.
Yeah. So remember what you said earlier on. That putting the black before the word tax. So putting that adjective is to kind of incorporate all of black experience, right? Because that's what we established this thing with. And so for me, the thing that holds negative connotations is the tax, right?
Okay.
And so at the same time, I did say that even if you operating in the spirit of Ubuntu, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be heavy. It doesn't mean that it's not going to require much of you.
Okay, then maybe my question is simply like, at what point do you say, no, I don't want to?
As a part of, as a couple who's married. Yeah, so yes. So
can you say that, or must it be, no, we're helping our people?
No, I think you should. I think you should. I think even in the spirit of Ubuntu, again, the thing says, I am because of the whole is because of me. And once we become a family, as a family, we are a unit that adds on to the whole, and the whole is supposed to look after us as well. There is a sense and understanding and an acknowledgement that once we get married, we are starting a new family, even in African African thinking. So I think that should be respected, right? That should be respected. We shouldn't try and in a functioning society, we shouldn't try to burden the new couple who's trying to set themselves up, right? And in fact, we should be trying to help them set themselves up. And obviously, we understand that there's brokenness, etc. So for me, I would say, as married people coming in, we have to have the conversation on black tax. We have to have the conversation on, helping the family, Ubuntu, etc., early on. Right. So as much as we talk about kids, as much as we talk about where we want to live, as much as we talk about dreams, as much as we talk about, the kind of family that we want, part of that conversation needs to include, yo, man, how did you grow up? Who's going to come live here? Which cousins do you have? Currently, who's Whose fees are you paying for, etc., 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 right? Because I think Jabu has to be fair to Mary to say, Mary, currently I work at company X, right? And I earn X amount of money, and part of that goes to Tembi, my little sister's daughter, right? So when we come in,
you know what's in the equation.
Here's the thing, though. Yes, you know what's in the equation, but the thing I'm asking you, Mary, is can we still accommodate that, or is there no way to do it? Right? And if we figure out that there's no way to do it, I need to go have that conversation with my family, right? Because I'm prioritizing this because I took you from your family, right? And you didn't take me from my family, but you also said that you're leaving your family to try and build this new one, right? So I'm saying we need to prioritize this. And let me say this, and that's why I'm saying have this conversation before you walk down the aisle. If there's no agreement, right? Mfana, me, I don't believe in the one. I don't believe that if now Mary says this thing is not gonna work, then suddenly I have so much pressure. If I don't fix this thing, I'm gonna lose my one.
I don't believe in the one at all.
Maybe this is not the one, yeah.
There's no one.
Yeah, I'm saying if you believe that there is a one, maybe this is not the one.
Maybe it's not the one, yeah.
Right? Maybe this is not
the
one.
one would understand you.
The one would understand.
Perfectly.
Right?
You don't even have to explain.
So I'm saying, Hamba, bro, leave it, right? Because you see how that thing is gonna harm this new union that you're trying to build. So we get married, and I'm like, yo, man, come from some heavy stuff. There might be some rands that need to come out to help my little sister later on in life. If you like me, I can't stomach that. Peace. Because why? And I'm not like peace because I don't appreciate love. Peace because I don't appreciate marriage. No, it's because I do appreciate all of those things. I want you to be loved well. I want our marriage to be sustained. And clearly this thing is going to be a burden.
And also that's real life. That's life. We're
that's
not going
to...
When every month you have to send 5K for, I don't know, whatever costs 5K. And that's going to be... It's going to be hard. If you're not on board to do that.
It is.
These needs might grow. So...
it's what we said, in the previous episode when we spoke about money and what TD Jake's wife said, right? Marriage is not going to be I see you walking on water every morning. No. Marriage is, mfana, two of my cousins need work and I'm the only one in Joburg and they want a place to sleep and we only have a 3-bedroom.
Yes.
And they 2 grown men.
Oh.
Exactly. Right? Because again, you said when you were nice, we're dressing you there, gave you a Zulu name, Umhlabeni. Emhlabeni Ezolweni. And there you were nice. Yeah, I will take you as my family as well. And now they're calling
now
on that vow.
You must do.
Hey, girl.
You said
we are your family as well. Yeah. So I'm like, stop saying we're going to walk on water and talk about the real things, because when the rubber hits the road, best believe that the rubber is going to melt, because this road gets hot, bro.
But what happens when we never had that conversation and now
we're in the thing
and my guy says I can't buy a house?
Yeah, no, I think that's unfair, bro. I think that's wrong.
So is ultimately what you're saying, right? Is that when it comes to whether you want to call it black tax, looking after the family, all of it combined,
yes,
right?
The black experience.
The desire to lift up others, the desire to, which actually isn't just the black experience, because most communities that have achieved generational wealth is because they all came together. But that's a conversation for another day. So, it was like, oh, your son is graduating, he can come work at my company.
Yes.
Oh, I need a place. You have an office space. Can I open my practice on your floor?
Oh, you just started a rent? Mechanics
Hey, we
company.
have a contract.
Come fix all our cars. We'll pay you and no one else.
Anyway, that's another chat. But I'm saying that when it comes to whether I want to look after people, or I'm burdened by the fact that I have this cousin who doesn't work and everyone wants to, all of that. The ideal setting is that a couple can come together in agreement.
They should.
They should.
They should, bro. I don't think it's fair on either one person of the couple, for them to not be considered, especially when they, provided that both of you are not just selfishly thinking about your own needs, right? I think it's unfair to then throw that on the other person without considering them as well. So if Jabu in this case genuinely comes from a good place, let's give Jabu the benefit of the doubt. And Jabu Vele, in his mind, is thinking like a township boy, village boy. This is a thing that we do. I'm going to help my mom buy a house, blah, blah, blah. It's been written in the stars. It's in my DNA. We got a tattoo when I was born. Nice. And he hasn't thought through the implications of what that's going to mean when he actually tells Mary. That's fine, Jabu. It's cool. But now you've told Mary.
Now you got to think about it.
And now Mary says, no, bro.
That's cute.
What about my life?
Like, that's cute. Your little tattoo is cute.
Exactly. So now you need to rethink your entire tattoo and bloodline, and you have to, bro.
Yeah.
You have to. My thing would be, every couple needs to speak about the compromise. And the compromise is, as black people, a majority of us cannot avoid having to look after the rest of our families, right? For us, unique situation that you don't have to deal with that, right? If there's any level of black tax with us, it's from my side, right? Which is fine. And it hasn't...
I actually think it's sorry, can I interrupt you there?
Yeah.
I actually think it's obviously the most privileged place would be both families are perfectly fine. But I'm like, I think it's it's a less of a burden.
Yeah.
Because I'm remembering another couple I knew where both families were in really bad situations. Yep. So the thing was, okay, if you bought your mom groceries, you also have to buy my mom groceries. And that's how they approached it, that whatever you do for this side, you must do for that side. And I'm like, that's hard, because what if one side is in more need? And if we can't send 10,000 to both, nobody's getting 10,000.
Yes.
So I'm like, shucks. Yeah.
And that's why I was, the point I was leading to, and I'm glad you brought that. No, I'm glad you brought that. The point because I would have missed that, right? But the point I was leading to was having to sit down and have a list of things that you're willing to do. And even the things that you're willing to do, how far you're willing to go, and what the compromises are. Be clear, stand together as a unit, right?
Ish, that thing is big, dog.
So that if, like the situation you gave, the timer now is calling to say, give us your money from Nesfas. And I'm like, that's a student. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of crazy hectic situation is happening in that family that I send you to school and then ask you to bring money. Like, what's happening with that dad, right? I'm like, that's buck. But you as a couple need to sit down and have your thing, dog, and say, okay, we're going to now live in a 2-bedroom apartment. We just got married, right? We started our lives now. We're going to live in a 2-bedroom apartment. Okay, cool. The one bedroom, we don't have kids. We wanted to use for people who are going to visit. But when there's nobody visiting, we're going to use that as a study or a studio, or whatever we're doing, right? It's fine. Okay. How many cousins do you have who are approaching working age? 3. Mina? 5. Okay. How many of them would possibly want to come live in the city? 2 from your side. Okay, fine. We are only willing to take 1 from either side, or 1 each. And that's where we are, and that's where we're standing. Why? Because we've considered our limitations. We've considered what resources we have, because I don't think that we are also becoming good stewards of what we have if we're just going to just surpass the thing and not look after it well, so that we can build what it is that we're trying to grow, And once you've hit that compromise, I'm behind you 1,000 when your family calls and says there's 4 cousins coming and you saying no. I'm 1,000 behind you. And me, I would even say, right? I would even say, when your family says 500 cousins are coming, as the wife, say, please talk to my husband. Because most of the time, most families fear doing that. But if they, brave the thing and call me, I can easily say, Bafetu, no, we've agreed on 1. And we can only take 1. Here are my reasons. When my family calls, I'm like, yo, speak to my wife.
Sure.
Right? Because then it also sobers them up to I also think
it reminds them that we won.
We won.
Because I think the moments where, like, I mean, I adore your mom.
Yeah.
But I think the moments where I felt so respected by her, not that I was ever disrespected, but where I was aware of the respect she had for me, was when there was a need that she had, and she said to you, please talk to Lily first.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, bruh, like, even if you hadn't spoken to me and sorted it out, it was that urgent, but she was like, please make sure you talk to, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Love this lady.
No, dope, bro. And another thing is, I think that cross thing, right? So when I'm saying your family must call me, and your family and my family calls you, your family calls me, there's something that happens in that process that sobers people up.
Yes, because they remember. Sorry, I'm interrupting again.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Because I'm like, I know, so let's say in this case, my mom knows me. She raised me. It's okay. She knows which buttons to press. But now when I'm like, hey, go talk to my wife, then she's like, oh, smack. The thing, do I really need this thing that I do I really need this thing? And if she really needs it, she'll hit you up, but she'll approach you with a soberness of saying, hey, dog, this is what I need, and what we've agreed on, you can relay the thing.
Sure.
I think that's just the coping mechanism. But if things are right, I think agree first on what compromise you have your list. Wait for your family to come, or you can even just go to them and say that, right? Guys, so our marriage, we started this thing. We don't have to go into how much I have or how our pockets are set up, etc., etc. But if you need anything, right, we just have 10 rand, and that's how much we can spare, and we'll give you that 10 rand very gladly. But to everyone else who's listening, if Temba asks for $10 and we give him $10, we'll see. So you can't come ask because it's finished. Wait for next month, bro, or wait for the next 6 months, because it took us 6 months to save up that $10. So once it's gone, it's gone. I don't hate you. I don't think you guys hate us, but that's what we can afford, right? But I think have that clear conversation with them, because then it doesn't break down the communication, doesn't break down relationships.
And it's already an uncomfortable conversation. It's already, I mean, sometimes it's fine, but sometimes it is uncomfortable. It is like, oh gosh, really? And then you want to, it's like, what do you mean he's dropped out again? Like, all of that stuff. And you're like, now this means we're going to have to, right?
Yes.
But I think I'm want to land things with my sort of parting shot is, so again, I did not experience, I haven't had to be text, right? And I haven't been the texer. I don't know, whatever. I've never been on the side of Cyrus. Haven't been on the side of Cyrus.
Haven't been text man.
Yes, exactly. But I think how it was modeled to me, watching my mom go through it, and like my aunts who were raising their kids, whatever, is there was always, which is what I think is the healthiest way forward, right? Again, you might be wrong, but I think the healthiest way forward is we were always prioritized.
Yes.
So my mom would not take anything away from her kids for the sake of the 5 kids. And she had to make those decisions. So it's a thing of saying that I have $100. With this $100, I'm supposed to buy clothes twice a year, because that's how black people buy clothes. Summer and winter. Buy clothes. I need to pay school fees. I need to make sure we have a roof over our head. I need to do that. Then with this, after I've put my money in savings and whatever, with this, I can help you guys. And I think for me, there was never watching that. I think it is, you are responsible to, and granted, my mom was single, my dad had passed. I don't know what it looked like when, together, they were, but also, I mean, growing up with my dad, I'm like, we never had a lot of money, but we were comfortable, right? And it made sure that needs were always met. And I think going forward, what I would say, what I want for us, what I want to see for other couples and families and whatever it is look after your house. Make sure that your house is sorted. And when I say sorted, I'm not saying like buy your kid the Jordans and the new iPhone. I'm just saying like there's certain things that you just have to do for your kids, for your wife, for like the basics. And then you go, okay, cool. this is, but also then even there will be a level of sacrifice where, if somebody needs a 3,000, that might mean that you can't, go to that fancy restaurant. Like, that's fine, but for me, I'm like, that's how I'd prescribe it, to be like, it shouldn't be a point where now your home is suffering and there's unhappiness and resentfulness, and kids are feeling, oh, my dad is everybody's hero, but never does anything for me. Everyone goes, oh, look at Mlungisi, he's such he did this. And you're sitting there going, yeah?
Yeah, whose dad is that?
Like, I needed to go to the dentist for a year, and this guy was like, I don't have money.
Yeah.
But he was,
Yeah.
So I think that's how going forward, because I think until... like, I think, was it this episode or whenever? Like, poverty will be there for most of us. And struggle will be there. And even when it's not struggle, but it's just, you're going to need to help people, right? At some point. So we can't escape that. But I think there's a way we can do it where you can still thrive as a couple, as a family, without having that individualistic, I left everything in the wind. I don't greet people on the side of the road. But still being able to help, but with a limit. Yeah. To say, this is a boundary. Yeah. I'm going to buy my wife the house. Mom, we're going to fix up what's here. Yeah. And then maybe there's more motivation to make more money so you can buy her a house. Right? Anyway, so that's...
Yeah, that's dope, bro. That's dope. Yeah, I think that's great. That's great.
It's a 10 out of 10.
What do you mean?
That's great. It just sounded like you were well done. Smiley face.
Nah, it's dope. The only thing I was thinking is, you trying to help back home because there's brokenness, but don't break your own family while doing that. Yeah. Don't add to the brokenness, bro. Sure. Right? Find ways of how you can help back home without perpetuating brokenness where you are. You got married, at least I would hope that you wanted to better. Let's say you come from a family that, parents are still together. You saw that legacy and you want to continue that and even better it. Or you came from a broken family and you were like, yo, man, I want to have a different narrative and change it. Don't let this thing hamper that, bro. Right? Don't do that. Yeah.
And also, our child shouldn't be our investment strategy.
I know that one must pay us.
Like, I'll be good. One day she gonna look after me. Anyway, that was just a random thing.
Never. But if my child makes billions one day and gives me a letter. But I'm not raising her to look after me financially. But I know there will come a time when I can't look after myself. And I think that's the blessing of kids. Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm old and I can't walk, that's why I have kids. They can help me walk.
It's your health insurance.
No, that's how God designed the world. We need to look after our old people.
No, I agree.
Yes.
Cool. I was just being silly.
No, I know.
Anyway, thank you for watching, people.
I like you, Tex.
I forgot. Are you waiting for your name to be called?
I am. In fact, I said I love you, Tex.
Like
so say I like you, Black.
I like you too, Black.
I am waiting for my name to be called.
What did you say?
My body shaking into... Black Tex is making people's bodies shaking in disbelief.
Tell us more.
But you never worked before. Maybe that song was about Black Tex, bro.
No, it wasn't, Black. It's about Judgment Day.
You've never worked before.
I have worked. That's why you want my money.
No, listen. The song is saying, when... Who's working now? You've never worked before. So now your name is being called. You see? As you leave the village, you're going to the city to work.
Yay.
And you're working and amassing all this money because you've never worked before. So now you're in the line. Your body's shaking in disbelief because you're waiting for the call from home to call your name to pay back. Hamilton.
What?
Needed to, your favorite movie, Hamilton needed to go back home and play Black Tex. Instead, he stayed and built America.
He did.
That's funny. I just thought about it now. His whole village gave him money and he never went back. He just built America.
Oh my God. I mean, maybe he did. I mean, based on the play.
Anyway. All right. Peace. 2.5.
What? Did you do that on purpose? Hey!
Aight,
Wow!
peace.
Get this man out of here.
We'll
Thank
see.
you for watching.
All right, newborns.